prepare and present a speech. In order to do this, what you must do is you must consider 3 different factors. You need to consider your topic, your outline, and the actual presentation itself. So let's start with the topic. When you're trying to figure out exactly what you're going to talk about, there are a few minor things or major things that you need to consider. Number 1, who are you going to be talking to? What level of audience? Is this going to be a technical speech or a non-technical speech? Are you looking for it to be humorous, entertaining, or informative? Or is this going to be persuasive or inspiring? As you decide to choose your topic, you need to know exactly all of these factors to determine exactly what your topic is going to be about. Finding a topic is not that difficult. If you're speaking to a group of children, maybe you would choose to speak about how education can help them in their futures. One of the things you do is you need to make sure that you use the correct vocabulary, the correct level of vocabulary for the group of people that you are speaking to. You would not use the same vocabulary when talking to a group of 8th graders as you would if you were talking to a group of college students. So that's something that you need to consider as you are choosing your topic. The next thing you have to do is you have to look at your outline. Every speech you give needs to have a minimum of 3 things. It needs to have a wonderful introduction to let people know what you're going to talk about. Then that introduction needs to be backed up by the body, and then you need to have your conclusion. Well, when you get ready to do your introductions, there's several ways to do it. You can do something with some beautiful gestures, which is eye-opening, but don't make yourself look like a clown when you decide to do a little gesture. You have to make sure when you're using that gesture that it's appropriate for your topic and it's appropriate for your audience. Let's say you're going to talk about success. And when you choose success, you need to say, in success, you have several things. You have your personal goals, you have your family's goals, and then you have reality. Then, when you get ready to talk about those different subjects, you're going to spend the same amount of equal time with each one of those sub-subjects. If you decide to use a reference, one of the best things to do is to give credit where that reference came from. The American Psychological Association says that 98% of college students. You see, that lends credibility to your subject. Whenever you're talking to a group, if there is a particular quote or a particular statistic that follows up and lends credibility to your speech, you need to make sure that you use that quote and you give it the proper credit. Giving a speech is not very hard. Here's where we get to the presentation. Do you use notes? Do you use a PowerPoint presentation? It all depends on you. Make sure that you don't fall into the PowerPoint trap of trying to put your entire presentation on the PowerPoint and the bullets. If you have your entire presentation on the PowerPoint to where people can read it step by step, what do they need you to stand up and speak for? It is okay to put a bullet there and then explain that bullet. It's okay to use a PowerPoint to show pictures of a beautiful vacation or your beautiful family or your dog or a successful college student or a non-successful college student working at McDonald's. You can use it to show emphasis, to make it better. The PowerPoint is a visual aid. The PowerPoint should never be your entire presentation. You need to make sure that when you are talking to people that you have the audience's attention. One way of verifying that you have the audience's attention is to get that eye contact. Take a few moments and look at a person. And when you look at that person, wait until they nod or they blink or they show you in some way that they are listening to what you have to say. Look to see who in your audience is writing down notes so you can remember that, I've got that person's attention. So since I have that person's attention, I can call on that person. It's very good when you have a presentation that if you ask a question, make sure that that question will not, the answer to that question will not take up all of your speaking time. You know how some people are, especially in Toastmasters, you ask them a question, they'll talk longer than your speech. So sometimes you might want to plant a person in the audience, tell them in advance you're going to ask a question, so therefore you make sure you are aware of your time requirements. When you get up to speak, use your body, use your heart, use your soul. Giving a presentation is easy. Is it okay to use notes? Yes, it is. Do you have to use big 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper? No. It's better if you use small 3 by 5 index cards with just a little bit of information on it to remind you of what you need to speak of. You see, standing up and giving a presentation is only as hard as you make it. Determine your topic. Put an outline. Get your body, your introduction, and a wonderful conclusion. People remember the conclusion more than anything else. Take your time, take a deep breath, and make that presentation. Mr. Toastmaster.